Hello everybody, Joe here. Welcome to the channel. So today's video, we have got a kettlebell workout. This is going to be a full body kettlebell workout. We're going to start with 50 kettlebell swings. So we've got 5 different exercises. Each exercise, we're just going to do 50 reps. This is the first exercise. Again, we're doing a straight kettlebell swing. And when you're doing the kettlebell swings, it should just be a pivoting action at the hip. Don't try to get all fancy and do a big squat and all that stuff. That's just going to injure your back, as I have actually done in the past. So just a little pivot in the hip hinge, and you're good to go. Raise that kettlebell up to about parallel to the ground, and that's all you need. I see some people that swing this way over their head. However, I'm not a fan of that. It's not good for the shoulder joint itself, and if you're swinging it over top of yourself, there is a little bit of means to get injured there. I'm using a 45-pound kettlebell, so feel free to use whatever you want. Ideally, you want to be able to do more than 10 or 15 reps at a time, especially when you're starting. So I'm doing all 50 reps in a row right here, which is what I've basically aimed for. So again, 45-pound kettlebell. I was going to do this with my other kettlebell, which is 62 pounds, and I just found that it was just too much, especially when I get into some of the other movements where I'm doing the shoulder press. I just didn't feel safe, pressing a kettlebell over my head 50 times. So next one is this one here. I'm going to just call it around the world. So we're just swinging the kettlebell around yourself. We're going to do it 50 times one way and then 50 times the other way. So right now I'm going counterclockwise 50 times again. The next one I'm just going to do it clockwise. So this doesn't look like an overly complicated movement. It doesn't even really look like it's that hard. However, when you get up there and you're 30 or 40 or 50 reps and then you're switching, you're doing the other side, you will really start to feel this in your obliques, the sides, even your back. And if you're not putting the kettlebell down and you're doing the exercise after exercise after exercise, you're going to really feel this in your wrists as well. It's going to be quite the forearm burner. So I'm going to try my best to not put the kettlebell down. However, doing that for all 5 exercises, especially later on in the exercises when they become definitely more difficult than these ones are, it's pretty hard. You'll see. So again, we're doing it this way, and then the next one is going to be clockwise. You can see the struggle in my face is getting a little real here. So there we go. We're done that way. Take a little breather, and now we're going clockwise. So I'm starting to feel this a little bit in my wrists. If you don't do exercises like this, you will realize that, hey, I'm working muscles that I've never worked. I'm getting sore in places I've never been sore for. I need to do more exercises, more workouts with just the kettlebell, and again, try not to put it down and maintaining it the entire time in your hands. Which is, again, a reason why I got the 45-pound versus a 60 or a 70 or an 80. I have a kettlebell all the way up to 80 pounds. For me, that unless I'm just doing a straight kettlebell swing, that's about pretty much all I'm going to do with that. Maybe a couple Goblin squats or regular sort of sumo squats I can do with that. But a 45, 50-pound kettlebell is very versatile. It's not too heavy. It's not too light. You can do most of your exercises with it. And so that is generally what I use a lot, is the 45 to 60-pound range. Sometimes I will use 2 kettlebells at one time. In that case, I'm usually using 2 35s or so. So after this workout, after this exercise, we're going to do shoulder press. Shoulder press, doing 50 reps of shoulder press is extremely difficult. Again, it's going to depend on what size kettlebell you're using, but pressing the 45 pounds over your head 50 times in a row for me is not realistic. So I'm going to just do my best. And again, your shoulders your shoulders are going to feel like they're on fire. Be very careful when you're doing this. Again, you don't want to drop the kettlebell onto your head, because that would be pretty catastrophic, especially if you're getting up into them heavy kettlebells. This one is not coated with any rubber or anything like that. It's just a straight iron kettlebell. So if this lands on anything, it is going to do tremendous damage. So when I'm doing this as well, I'll just kind of do it from different angles. That way you can sort of see from different angles my form and that type of stuff. The struggle is getting real right now. I'm definitely slowing down a little bit. Eventually, I may have to put this down. If you don't need to put it down and you're a hero, then keep going. But if not, if you feel like maybe you're slipping a little bit, maybe when you're putting it over your head, you're getting a little nerve-wracking. As I was doing here, I decided, hey, you know what? I just need to take a break for this for a second. In the course of safety, I don't want this thing dropping on my head. And there we go, putting it down. So when I pick it up, I'll do a different. I'll face one of the sides this time, so you can get a bit of a side shot. After this one, we're going to do the Goblin Squat. So I'll let you, again, see this from the side, and then I'll come back in, and when we start the Goblin Squat, I'll give you some tips and hints there.
30. 1. 2. 3. 4. 5. 6. 7. 8. 40. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
We are just about coming up to 50, just a few reps left. Wham, and bam. Final one. All right, so I'm putting the kettlebell down for a couple seconds, getting a little bit of a breather, and then we're going to get into the next exercise, which is going to be the Goblin Squat. I have kind of made this workout so the exercises get a little bit more difficult each time. Goblin Squat with a 45-pound is not overly difficult. However, when you're doing the workout and you're doing them one after the other without really taking any breaks, you're going to find that, especially from the last exercise we did, which was a shoulder press, your shoulders are on fire right now, and now trying to hold this in the front position. The Goblin Squat is kind of like a front squat with a kettlebell. Your shoulders are going to be on fire, and they're probably going to want to give out. So I would definitely recommend putting the kettlebell down. You always want to have good form over everything, over anything, I should say. If you find your form starts to really go kind of downhill, take a little bit of a breather, let your muscles reset, and then get back into it. I see way too many people doing terrible form. They just want to push the reps out, and eventually their form starts to go right to hell. Definitely, you do not want that, so that's just going to create injuries in that. You can see now I'm doing this squat from the side, and this is good form for your squat. So my butt is going back and down, basically like you're sitting on a toilet. my legs are pretty much going parallel to the floor, and my kneecaps are staying over the midfoot, over the toe. They're not going over the toe, like they're not going in front of the toe. You generally want to avoid that. So again, your knee should be toe to midfoot. Around midfoot is pretty much ideal, but it's also going to kind of depend on your flexibility and your balance. So I definitely need a little bit of break here. Doing these things straight through is for me just about impossible. Maybe if I had, a 25 or a 30 pound kettlebell, I would be able to do that. However, that's not happening. I wanted to get a bit of a muscular workout as well instead of just cardiovascular. If I were to get a 20 or a 25 pound or a 30 pound kettlebell, I would definitely be able to do this probably nonstop, all the exercises back to back. However, I am coming off vacation and I want to put a little bit more muscle back on. I haven't worked out in about a week and a half, and I'm definitely feeling the effects. Last few reps coming up. You can see I'm really pushing it. The struggle in my face is real. So there we go. That's 4 exercises completed. The last one we're going to do is the kettlebell curl. 45 pound kettlebell doesn't seem like much. However, when you're curling it in the front of your body, especially after the previous 2 exercises, which are very shoulder focused, curling this in the front, your shoulders are going to be on fire and your biceps are going to be pretty sore pretty quick. I can easily curl 35 pound dumbbells or even 40 pound dumbbells. However, trying to curl a 45 pound kettlebell in front of you, there's just something about it that is really difficult to do. So doing 50 reps straight for this, yeah, pretty much impossible for me. So I'll take a few breaks, but that's all right. Again, I'll show you a couple different views so you can see how my body is in each of the views. And again, if you feel yourself starting to kind of lean over and your arms aren't really straightening out too much, they're extremely bent or something, you're only doing like a 90-degree bend or something like that in them, stop, reset, put the kettlebell down, come back in 20 seconds or so, and then start it over, and again, good form. So you can see I'm bending over a little bit. My arms aren't going perfectly straight, but doing this exercise with a kettlebell, it's pretty darn hard to have your legs or your arms completely straight. So a little bit of a bend is fine. Just I see some people when they're doing this sometimes, and they'll do basically, they go down to like basically a little past 90 degrees, and then they come back up, and that's not really a good form. So do the full curl as best as you can. And don't forget, when you finish this exercise, this whole workout, I've done 50 reps of everything. I'm going to repeat this actually another time. So I do 100 reps in total. However, watching someone do 100 reps of every different thing takes a long time. A lot of people's patience nowadays is very minimal. So I cut it down for you and I did the 50 reps. But if you have time, repeat this whole exercise regime over again, the whole workout over again. That way you've done 100 reps of everything. So also, don't forget to stretch at the end of these workouts. You always want to stretch, especially stretch the muscles that you've worked the majority of. For me, obviously back, shoulders, biceps, This one kind of hit a bit of everything. So I'm going to spend about 5 minutes after this workout, after I finish filming, and I'll do some stretches. Stretches will go a long way in helping you recover, and you won't be so sore the following day. So we are coming up on the last few reps. Again, feel free to comment down below if you want to see me do a workout to your liking. Also, like the video, subscribe, all that good stuff, and we will see you in the next workout. Have a great day, and bye for now.